Good morning, Mammoth. It's your extract supervisor, Eamon. I'm here to bring you a couple of fundamentals this week, since we missed one last week. Embrace change and growth was last week's, and my fundamental this week is go the extra mile. So embrace change and growth. What got us here is not what will get us to the next level. Get outside your comfort zone rather than stubbornly hanging on to the old ways of doing things. Be excited by the possibilities that change and growth bring. Be flexible. For me personally, this one's like really difficult. It seems like the older I get, the more my brain tells me to resist change. It's rather difficult to actually override it too. I'm pretty good at kind of like tricking my head and my brain into, believing things that are maybe not my first inclination to believe. So, one of the ways I get around this is understanding the importance of the changes that are about to be made or looking to make. Seeing how they will improve processes and, how they can, create maybe a better product or a new product. And the sooner I can kind of wrap my head around those things, the easier it is for us to come to terms with it and to kind of get on board with this change. Change is going to happen whether you like it or not. And if you can embrace it and maybe even be excited for it, progress and improvement, rather than being like afraid or dreading the temporary difficulty of change, just get excited for the challenge. Perception of change is up to you. And the better your perception, the more positive your perception of the change, the easier it is for you to make it. So that was just a quick, catch up for last week. This week's go the extra mile. Be willing to do whatever it takes to accomplish the job, plus a little bit more. Whether it's staying a little bit late, coming in a little early, or doing something that's not your job description. It's the extra mile that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. I'm going to do a quote from one of my favorite movies, and a very, very wise man, the supervisor of the waiting staff, said that the only difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little bit of extra. So, and it's, as corny as that is, it's actually true. If you put a little more effort towards something than you normally would, you're going to find it's beneficial. This is like a huge thing to me. I feel like I go the extra mile, and I feel like this whole team goes the extra mile almost 100% of the time. And for me, it's just been really important my whole life. It leaves me very proud and accomplished at the end of the day. And when I feel that way, I am ready to tackle tomorrow, indefinitely. I can't wait to get back here. And that's just, little successes that kind of drive you to do better. They're little payoffs that you get. And you got to learn to recognize those payoffs, because they're what you kind of use as a fuel to keep you going. Average employees will do just enough. Exemplary or exceptional employees always find a way to do more. Most of the world, I feel is smarter than me, more talented than me, but I refuse to be outworked by anybody. And that's something that I learned really at like a very young age. I was a serious athlete, and I took sports to heart, man. And I realized really early on that I had some, natural talent, and I had a body for sports, but there were many people way more talented than me. And I had to work sometimes 2 times, even 3 times harder than everybody to get where I needed to be and to become a more successful athlete than other more talented athletes, naturally talented athletes. You know, going the extra mile, good example of it. Recently, we have some issues with these pods, and it seems like it's a manufacturer defect. You know, immediately John reaches out to the patient that had a failed pod, and he kind of, you know, rectifies the situation and lets the patient know that, you know, we're willing to do whatever it takes to, you know, make them happy with their purchase and kind of keep them a Mammoth customer. You know, and even in that same situation, we have Zoe jumping all over testing these pods and trying to figure out how we can minimize defects that actually make it out to the market. You know, any chance you have to put that extra in, you got to take it. And when you start doing that, it almost becomes addictive. Like, you can't stop just doing more to better your team's situation. Early on in Mammoth, we only had a few employees. You know, we were kind of bare bones, and it was absolutely necessary for everybody in this building to wear like many hats. And when that happens, it's difficult to not go the extra mile. Like, you have no choice but to kind of just step up and take on another hat when it's time for you to do that. And that is where I kind of, you know, became addicted to doing this. Like, this, you know, the more I could help Mammoth, it was like a dopamine flood for me. You know, the more I could make this place change for better, it made me feel better about myself. You know, there employees that didn't go the extra mile in this establishment, they're no longer with us. And that's why we've had this solid staff for like a straight year now. You know, you guys have really stepped up. You go the extra mile. I'm really proud of everybody for that. You know, their willingness to go the extra mile. This fundamental for me, like, really pairs well with, like, find a way, make quality personal, and bringing it every day. And I feel that everybody here at Mammoth does a very good job of that. So that's my video for the week. Have a good weekend, everybody. Sorry for the tardiness on this video.